I'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadat Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Shri Gurur Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले मध्ये भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देव ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिमित्रपादमहं वन्दे गुरुदीनकारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थातोऽपि वा स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं साभ्याकरं शुचिः। श्रीविष्णु श्रीविष्णु श्रीविष्णु। हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. I need everyone blessings today so that I can talk. I can give some message on Kapila Dev teachings, Mataji. I really need all your blessings and mercy, Mataji. Please kindly bless me. Yeah. Now I am going to start the teachings of Lord Kapila Deva to Mother Devahuti. So before we start this session, first let us discuss about who is Kardam Muni, like the parents of Lord Kapila Deva. The Kardam Muni and Devahuti is like ideal Grihastha life and all that subjects we will discuss a little bit before entering into the teachings of Kapila Deva. Actually, first we will discuss about the ideal Grihastha life of Devahuti and Kardam Muni. So before that, we will see who is the lineage of Devahuti. Devahuti is born to Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. Swayambhuva Manu is the father and Shatarupa is the mother of Devahuti. And Lord Brahma's son is Swayambhuva Manu, and Swayambhuva has two sons and three daughters. The sons' names are Uttanapada, Priyavrata, and daughter names are Devahuti, Ahuti, and Prasuti. That is the lineage of lineage of Devahuti. So Devahuti's son is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. And Prasuti. Yeah, now in the household life of Grihastha life of Devahuti and Kardamuni, Kardamuni is called as Kardamuni is son of Brahma, and Kardamuni is also described here as Mahayogi, and Devahuti is described here as Yoga Lakshana. First, initially, Kardamuni has been instructed by Brahma, his father, to create the progeny and increase the population of this universe. So that is his project. That is the project prescribed by Brahma to Kardamuni on this planet. So populate them with various species. Kardamuni performed to this project. Kardamuni has done 10,000 years of devotional activities, austere devotional services to the Supreme Lord Krishna at the place of Bindu Sarovar. The banks of Bindu Sarovar, Kardamuni has done 10,000 years of austerity with the devotional services to the Supreme Lord. That is how before coming to the Grihastha life, Kardamuni has controlled his senses by being austere and by performing all the devotional activities. So he was so simple, and with full faith and devotion, he completely immersed his mind and body, everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and performed tapasya. And there is some material tinge or material connection in this tapasya. Actually, Kardamuni meditated and performed this a devotional service to the Supreme Lord just to get marriage. That is his main goal, actually. So Lord Krishna, Lord the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was so pleased with Kardamuni's devotional activities, and he himself descended to Bindu Sarovar. He gave darshan to Kardamuni. All this happened at the place of Bindu Sarovar. The Bindu Sarovar is a place. It's a big forest. The Sarovar is filled with the tears of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the Lord is so pleased with Kadamuni's activities, and he was so impressed, and tears came in Lord's eyes, and those drops of tears fell into the Bindu Sarovar area, and that pool of water and even the waters of Saraswati river together formed the Bindu Sarovar. So on the banks of the Bindu Sarovar, Lord gave darshan to Kardamuni. So Kardamuni, after taking Lord's darshan, he was so pleased, and he started praying to Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, saying that my eyes has become I am pleased today, and you have given me the darshan, and my perfection of eyes is my perfect. It is the perfection to my eyes, because for anybody, the perfection of eyes is when one sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead and once gets the darshan of Lord, then the eyes becomes perfect. That is how he praised the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also Kardamuni told that he is very less intelligent. Because why he is less intelligent is because he is praying and doing all these devotional service and activities to the Supreme Lord just for one material benefit, just to get marriage for the marriage purpose. So he's feeling very guilty also at some point, saying that I'm very less intelligent. And usually all the materialistic people, they go to demigods or even the Supreme Personality of Godhead also just for a small material benefits which are not permanent. So he is comparing to general materialistic people. And also the same way, the Kardamuni is also telling why I am doing this is I am bound by the instructions of the Brahma, because Brahma himself instructed Kardamuni to create progeny in this universe. So because of that, he has to do this prayer and all the devotional services to Supreme Lord to get that benediction. So he's also again telling that. And in turn, Kardamuni is telling, even Brahma got this instruction from you, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, that to increase the progeny of the universe. So this is not my desire, and this is the desire of yours, my Lord. Ultimately, this is the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like this, Kardamuni was offering prayers to Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is also telling that the surrendered souls will be liberated. Those who are always always discussing Krishna Katha in between the devotees. When devotees gather together, they discuss about Krishna. When such things happen, the conditioned souls will be ultimately liberated. So there is also shloka in Bhagavad Gita, Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tusyanti Charamanti Cha. So when Krishna Katha was discussed between the devotees, they derive unlimited pleasure and happiness also from that. And ultimately, it leads to the liberation of the conditioned souls.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Jyothsna mataji, check your internet, no? Or maybe you should turn your video off. Chala break out.
Yeah, break in the Mataji.
Voice break out ni frame freeze out undi. Nakina andarika.
లేదు మాతాజీ
బాగుంది మాతాజీ.
మాతాజీ బానే ఉంది.
Okay మాతాజీ, continue. Sorry.
So Kardamuni was telling that all the souls will be liberated, and he's praising the Lord, and he is offering his prayers to the Supreme Lord in such a way. And he's also telling that time does not affect the devotees who are always constantly chanting and hearing Krishna Katha in association of devotees. So these are all, and he is also telling that he is the maintainer, creator, and destructor of the whole universe. And this way, Kardamuni offered all his heartfelt prayers to the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord was so much pleased about Kardamuni's activities and all, and he is departed from the Bindu Sarovar to his Vaikuntha planets. And next, Lord's Kardamuni took obeisances from the Lord, and this happened. And no, Lord didn't depart. And after Kardamuni spoke, the Lord started speaking to Kardamuni. Lord told Kardamuni that you will definitely, your material desire of getting wife will be fulfilled. Very soon, Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa with their daughter Devahuti will come to your hermitage. Kardamuni's hermitage is in the banks of the Bindu Sarovar river. So he told like that. And Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa will bring their daughter Devahuti day after tomorrow, something like that. So as soon as and Lord departed to his Vaikuntha planets, and even Kardamuni wanted to explain how Lord descended to Bindu Sarovar. Lord came on the top of Garuda. He was standing on top of Garuda, and he descended to that Bindu Sarovar area. And Lord was so effulgent, and with his 4 arms like Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and his blue sapphire like the diamond, the Kaustuba money, which is shining on that Garuda. When he was standing on that, it is illuminating like that. That sapphire money is illuminating, and with this Srivatsa and all. So the body, and he's wearing yellow garments, silk garments with black hair and all the description of a Supreme Personality of Godhead was described by Kardamuni. And Lord was so effulgent, and Kardamuni was so pleased that he got the darshan of the Lord. And eventually, after giving this instruction that very soon Devahuti, the wife, the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa will be coming to you, and Lord descended to his Vaikuntha planets. And even Kardamuni also witnessed that while Lord was going back to his Vaikuntha planet, Kardamuni witnessed that that thing. So and later we will discuss a little bit of the Bindu Sarovar. What is Bindu Sarovar? Bindu Sarovar, as we discussed, it is the lake formed with the tears and the waters of the Saraswati river. The tears came in the Lord's eyes. Just he was so pleased with Kardamuni's austerity and devotional services. And Bindu Sarovar lake was so pleasant, filled with lots of varieties of flowers, fruits, and fragrance flowers which emanate all the time, and a lot of gentle this sattvika birds like all peacocks, ducks, swans, chakravaka birds and cuckoos and all very nice, friendly birds and very friendly animals. Everything was arranged by the Lord himself. It was like that. The atmosphere is very conducive and the ambience is very conducive and all. So why the ambience is so conducive is wherever the sages, they do austerity or any devotional activity, with the hermitages of sages there, the surrounding area will be very conducive and it will be very like a sattvic kind of thing, because it will be beneficial for them to continue their devotional activities. In case if the surrounding area is very passionate enough, like the area is not so sattvic, it is so much in passion mode, the devotional activities cannot be performed so smoothly. So this is how the Bindu Sarovar is explained in the Bhagavatam. And later, Kardamuni receives Manu. Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa, along with her daughter Devahuti, arrives to Bindu Sarovar, and they get to meet Kardamuni. Kardamuni sees Swayambhuva Manu, and he welcomes with great honor and humility Kardamuni. Actually, in the olden days, the relation between a Kshatriya and a Vaishya and a Brahmana is so respectable and so nice, actually. So loving relationship was there in both of them. In Vedas also it is explained that the Brahmanas are the heart of Lord, and the Kshatriyas are the arms of the Lord. So they used to have very mutual relationship, loving relationship between themselves. But nowadays it is very different. But earlier it was so nice. So how it was, there is this Kshatriyas, they used to take advice from the Brahmanas, and Brahmanas, they used to give the knowledge and advice and instruction to the Kshatriyas how to rule the kingdom and how to spread this Vedic knowledge to the society and live and how to engage people in the kingdom in devotional activities and all those, and how to lead a dharmic life and all these principles will be given by the Brahmanas to the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas will very humbly they accept these instructions from Brahmanas, and they will run their kingdom in a very peaceful manner by keeping Vishnu in the center by propagating devotion, by propagating the by the religion in the whole kingdom. It was like that. And Brahma and Kshatriyas was so grateful, and they are very with gratitude they would see and fulfill all the needs of the Brahmanas. Brahmanas, they never used to work before. They used to just give the knowledge and spread the knowledge. They used to, all this culture and knowledge should always be preserved. Preserved in the sense, it's like, for example, nowadays we preserve a lot of valuable things like money, wealth, this gold ornaments, all these things. When it comes to scriptural thing, spiritual activity, preservation is not just keeping within ourselves. Preserving culture or Vedas or knowledge is nothing but propagating them. When we propagate them, it means we are preserving that. So these Brahmanas are very nice, and they used to give all their knowledge, which it comes from the Lord itself. The Lord bestowed that spiritual knowledge, the Vedic knowledge to the Brahmanas in order to propagate to the whole world and keep the whole world in harmony, and to run the world with in a very good dharmic system and all. So it is how, and even the power was given to Kshatriyas. That power is also coming from the Supreme Lord. So here the Supreme Lord says that I keep Kshatriyas and Brahmanas together in a very loving relationship together, and that energy and mercy for both Brahmanas and Kshatriyas is also coming from me. So that way, together this Kardamuni and Swayambhuva Manu, they offered their prayers to each other. Kardamuni praised Swayambhuva Manu, and Swayambhuva Manu praised Kardamuni together. And later, Kardamuni started asking, Swayambhuva Manu started asking Kardamuni that I have a small inquiry for you, that I wanted to give my daughter Devahuti to you. That is how he placed his offer towards Kardamuni. And he also said that Devahuti is very pleasing, very simple, humble. She is having all very Vaishnava qualities in her, and she is the very good wife, which is suitable for you to help you in all your spiritual and devotional activities. And also he told that Devahuti is sister of Uttanapada and Priyavrata, and she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. Even one Gandharva, when Devahuti was on her terrace, on her palace, she's a very opulent daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, Devahuti. So she lived in a very big palaces and all. And when Devahuti was on the terrace of the palace one day, looking her beauty, one of the Gandharva fell from the airplane. So out of lust, actually. So she's having all good qualities. She's very beautiful. She's very compassionate, friendly nature. She's very tolerant. All the Vaishnava qualities are with her, and she is very suitable wife for you. So that is how, and even Swayambhuva Manu told that Devahuti also made up her mind. She heard from Narada Muni about your glories, about Kardamuni glories. After hearing from Narada Muni, Devahuti made up her mind that she wanted to marry Kardam Muni. So all these things Swayambhuva Manu tells to Kardam Muni. And he asked, like, what do you say? You accept my daughter, something like that, he asked. Then Kardam Muni also says, yes, I'm also, even I agree, I accept Devahuti as my wife, because she's having so many good qualities, and even I wanted to marry her, something like that. And the marriage of Kardam Muni and Devahuti happens. And Kardam Muni and Devahuti happens. And Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa gives lot of presents and a lot of jewelry, ornaments, and so many other household paraphernalia, everything they gives to her daughter after marriage, like a dowry kind of thing. And out of separation, feeling of separation, Swayambhuva Manu, he just like he is in tears because out of separation, and he just holds her daughter in separation and cries. And both of them, Kardam Muni, Swayambhuva Manu, and Shatarupa, they start to their kingdom, back to their kingdom. And and all the people in the kingdom are they are ready and welcoming back Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. And Swayambhuva Manu's opulence we will discuss. The Swayambhuva Manu is a very, very opulent king, having very dharmic values, and also he is so much into devotional activities. Every single day he hears Harikatha, Krishna Katha, he chants, he gives that Krishna Katha message to everybody in the kingdom, and he's very dharmic way. He leads the administration in a dharmic way, keeping Krishna, Lord Vishnu, in the center. So he's not at all attached to his opulence. Though he's so rich, he's not attached to his opulence. So that is about all about Kardam Muni, Devahuti, and Shatarupa, and this is about their family life. Now, after marriage, we will see the Devahuti's lamentation on Kardam Muni. So Devahuti's service to Kardam Muni. Devahuti has, as we already discussed, Devahuti has so many Vaishnava qualities. We will talk a little about Vaishnava qualities of Devahuti. She's very chaste, and she understands the mood of her husband, and she has so much great love and intimate to her husband, and she is very pure both in body and mind. External and internal saucham is there for her, and great respect, and she has a lot of sense control and love, and she talks to her husband or everybody very sweetly, and sweet words. She has given up with all lust, pride, anger, sinful activities, everything. She's very saintly, and she's having all Vaishnava qualities. So she's serving Kardam Muni with all these Vaishnava qualities. Actually, when we go in this chapter to Bhakti Yoga session, there also Lord and gives the Lord says that bhakti can be effectively performed with the qualities of there are 13 limbs of bhakti, 13 qualities. So most all the qualities, all those bhakti qualities are already in Devahuti. They are inherited in Devahuti. So she is a very chaste wife and she is serving with love and so much absorbed in serving Kardamuni. And this is from Devahuti's Devahuti serving her husband. We can learn a small lesson from her, like how we can serve our spiritual master. We should serve our spiritual master by understanding the mood of our spiritual master, as Devahuti understood the mood of a Kardamuni. So the mood of understanding the spiritual master and working accordingly and serving and pleasing him is the main lesson which we can take from this Devahuti's devotion. And Devahuti here is also compared to Bhavani, Shiva's consort, Parvati Devi, because Devahuti is coming from a very opulent lineage from Swayambhuva Manu, and she is very opulent with all the wealth and all. But still, she is not attached to her wealth or opulence. She is more dedicated in serving the Supreme Lord and serving the Vaishnavas. Similarly, Bhavani, the consort of Lord Shiva, Parvati Devi, she is the daughter of the Himalayas, the king of Himalayas. But she married Lord Shiva, who lives in cremations and all. But still, she is serving Lord Shiva with, she's a very chaste wife. So here Devahuti is compared to Bhavani. So what we can take, the lesson from here we can take is like, though how much wealth or properties or name, fame or any certificates or educational qualifications, whatever it is we have with us, we cannot keep all that in front of our Guru. While serving our spiritual master, we cannot bring all those things in front of Guru and then try to please him. No, that is not the intention. We should be completely detached. We should be aloof from all those attachments, whatever we have, the material attachments, and just serve the spiritual master in the mood of Devahuti. That is the lesson we are learning from Devahuti serving to Kardamuni. And later, by serving Kardamuni, Devahuti became so much emaciated. She became very weak, and her hair was matted, and she doesn't have any bodily strength because she was so absorbed in serving him. And at last, Kardamuni was so much pleased by the services she rendered by Devahuti. And Kardamuni goes to Devahuti and he say that whatever benefits I have by performing devotional activities, I will give those benediction to you. I'll offer that back to you. Something like that he will say. But he said that I'll give love of Godhead, Krishna Prema, which I have attained through all my devotional activities, I'll give back to you. But Devahuti says that I do not want love of Godhead, the Krishna Prema. And Kardamuni says that from Krishna Prema, you will also attain Ashoka and Abhayam, that fearlessness and fear of lamentation, both you will acquire. That benefit I will give, that eternal benefit I will give to you. But Devahuti is not in the situation to accept that Ashoka and Abhayam through which is coming from love of Godhead. She is not ready in a position to accept that benediction. But instead, Devahuti asked Kardamuni that she want a material benediction, that she want a child. She want a child, and please give a child. She requests Kardamuni something like that. And this is a very ignorant kind of thing, because that is what the Bhagavatam is telling. She is asking for a very ignorant thing. So Kardamuni accepted her request, but initially itself, when Kardamuni, when he was talking to Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa, he made an agreement that once I have no issue in getting married to your wife Devahuti, but I'll marry Devahuti, and once I beget children from Devahuti, I no longer will stay in union with her. I will renounce. I'll go. I'll become a sannyasi, renounce my household life, and I'll go to the forest. So that is agreement made by Kardamuni before marriage itself. So now Kardamuni accepts that request gave by Devahuti that she wanted to bear a child. He agrees for it, Kardamuni. And but Devahuti, looking at Devahuti, because she's so emaciated, she's very weak, and she is not, her body is not ready for bearing a child. So Kardamuni tells her that you need to regain all your lost beauty and charm and strength, also bodily strength, in order to bear the child. So you go dip in the Bindu Sarovar. That is what he suggested her. So Devahuti went to Bindu Sarovar and he take a dip in the Bindu Sarovar. So when she goes inside the water, she sees so many young girls, like 100, more than 100 or 200, all these young girls. They are all celestial girls. They are very beautiful, and they started bathing, giving bath to Devahuti. They started dressing up with all very opulent clothes, beautiful ornaments, and braiding her hair with the different hairstyles. They made Devahuti very, very beautiful, and she regained all her strength back, and with a lot of beauty, like a queen, she came outside of the Bindu Sarovar. And Kardamuni, along with Devahuti and all the young girls who were in the Bindu Sarovar, they all went to aerial mansion. First, we will discuss about the aerial mansion. So Kardamuni, with his lot of mystic opulence and mystic potency, he created a very big aerial mansion, because this hermitage in Bindu Sarovar was not suitable environment for grihastha life, something like that, because it is more for devotional activities. So he created a very beautiful aerial mansion. It was some acres, kind of very big one, with all the facilities. It has a lot of beautiful mountains, lakes, all valleys with good forest, everything. It was so beautiful. And Kardamuni, along with Devahuti and all the maid servants, they went to the aerial mansion. So in that aerial mansion, Kardamuni was like a moon, and all this Devahuti, along with all other maid servants, they were like the stars. So for 100 celestial years, Kardamuni and Devahuti, they enjoyed their grihastha life. They enjoyed, and they went to valleys, parks, all forests, mountains, everything, and they enjoyed with the sweet fragrance of flowers, variety of fruits, and so much of opulent luxury things with maids and everything. And later, after 100 celestial years, Kardamuni and Devahuti, they come back to their hermitage, and now it's the time that they have to beget the children. So they will to beget children, they will come back again to their hermitage. When they came to the hermitage, the Kardamuni divides his body parts into 9 small fragrantal parts, and he through that 9 small fragrance of his body parts, the Devahuti becomes pregnant, and on the same day she delivers 9 beautiful girl babies. So 9 beautiful girl babies will be born to Devahuti and Kardamuni in the hermitage of Bindu Sarovar. So after seeing the girls, and Kardamuni thought like that, my project is over. Giving children to Devahuti, my project is over. Now he is telling that I wanted to retire, and I want to do more of self-realization, and I wanted to engage my life in devotional activities to the Supreme Lord. Now I'll go back to the forest, something like that he is telling. And Devahuti, after listening this, he was so much into lamentation. She was not at all accepting this. And she gently came up with a request, like she's telling Kardamuni that if you go to the forest now, leaving 9 girls to me, I will be in abhayam. I will be in abhayam, in fearlessness. So you have to give me, I'll be in fear. You have to give me abhayam, fearlessness. So indirectly, she is asking Kardamuni that I want a boy child, because she's telling all these girls will get married and they will go to their own home, something like that, and I'll be alone, and who will take care of me? As per the Vedas, women should always be protected at all stages. When she's young, she should be protected by her father. When she is married, she should be taken care of her husband, and after her husband's retirement life, she should be taken care by her son. So she wanted to. So from this also we should learn that we should not hold on to our material attachments or material propensities till the fag end of our life. At some point of life, we should detach. We should start detaching from this material attachments, and we should seek a life of self-realization. So from Kardam Muni's thing, we have to learn this. Like everybody should start planning for the retirement after certain age, and detaching from their material attachments. So Kardam Muni understood this, and he told, and even Devahuti, now she realizes what mistake she has done earlier when Kardam Muni asked her that I will give you the love of Godhead, or love of Krishna Prema, for when he is pleased with her devotional activities. Then she realizes that she is very ignorant, and she has done a great mistake by not accepting that eternal benefit what Kardam Muni had offered her. But now she is telling, I wanted a abhayam now, please give me that. And she is also telling one more thing. See, I behaved like a materialistic person. Like I associated with see, if a materialistic person associates with another materialistic person, that is ignorance, in ignorance, or it leads to ignorance, and that eventually leads to downfall. Their consciousness will be damaged, everything. It will lead to downfall. And Devahuti here, she's mentioning another thing, that so even if a materialistic person, out of ignorance, he or she associates with a spiritual person, a sadhu, it should eventually leads to enlightenment. So even in either case, like earlier I asked only for material benefit, now I am asking for abhayam. But either way, even I have associated with the sadhu. You are the most enlightened person. So even though I came to you and associated with you for some material benefit out of ignorance, I should still be benefited. So now please give me the eternal benefit which you have acquired from your this thing. So like that, Devahuti is asking. So Kardam Muni agreed for her, and she told that he will definitely give abhayam for her. And
Never leave your device unattended.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. And Devahuti, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, I
Mataji,
muted them, so you can continue.
You are able to hear, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, you continue.
Okay. So, so yeah, and Brahma earlier only told that Lord of Supreme Lord, Lord Kapila Dev, by name Lord Kapila Dev, he will manifest in your womb. So Devahuti knows that Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to take birth in her womb. And even Lord himself, when he was departing from Bindu Sarovar, he told Kardam Muni, I will come as your child in the womb of Devahuti. So now that is going to come true, and Lord Kapila Deva is going to take birth in the womb of Mother Devahuti. So Brahma, without so now Brahma, when this incident happened, Brahma came to the hermitage of Kardam Muni and Devahuti, and he told that you accepted my instructions and you followed my instructions very nicely, and selflessly you rendered so much of devotional services, and I'm pleased by you. And Lord, Lord of the Lords, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is going to take birth in Devahuti, Mother Devahuti's womb. So, yeah. And Brahma also departed after telling this. After telling this, Brahma also departed to his planet. So Lord Kapila Dev has Lord Kapila Dev took birth in Devahuti's womb, and many yogis and so all these apsaras, kinnaras, they were dancing, singing, all demigods, they were showering flowers. All this happened when Lord Kapila Dev took birth in Devahuti's womb. And now Karta Muni is saying that now Lord Kapila Muni came, and so I am leaving the house. I am like renouncing. I am going out for the self-realization. But anybody can question like Lord Kapila Dev is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He himself is telling that he will take birth in Devahuti's house. So we can ask a question like, why Karta Muni is going to forest? Because the purpose of his going to forest is to renounce and self-realize and to realize the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is in his house, what is the purpose of his going to forest? Here, then Karta Muni says that any householder should retire from his household life and detach from the material attachment at some point of time, and they should seek self-realization. So if I am not doing that, so I am not setting a good example to the society. So in order to set a very good example to the common people, Karta Muni is retiring, and he is going to forest for seeking self-realization and leading an austere devotional life. And the second point here is Karta Muni, all throughout these years, he was more into this Dasya Rasa. He was worshipping the Supreme Lord in the mood of servant, in Dasya Rasa. See, now all these years he was in one mood, and suddenly he cannot change the mood and come to Vatsalya Rasa when Lord himself was in his house. Because when Lord took birth as his son in his house, he has to worship him in Vatsalya Rasa, which Karta Muni is not ready to do that, because all these years he was in a Dasya Rasa. So for these two reasons, Karta Muni wanted to go to renounce and go to forest. And later, now Devahuti and Lord Kapila Deva, they stayed in the hermitage of Bindu Sarovar, and in that house they stayed. And now the questions of now what happened is Devahuti now started asking, after Karta Muni left, Devahuti started asking questions to Lord Kapila Deva. She had 7 questions for Lord Kapila Muni. So I will tell all the 7 questions what she asked Lord. First question is Devahuti is asking Lord Kapila Deva that I am into aham mameti concept, the I and my concept. I am into illusion and I am struck by Maya. Please help me with that. So the first question is that. So I am like into illusion. I am struck with this Maya and the material senses of aham mameti, I and my. So please dispel my illusion. That is the first question of Devahuti. So the second question is, what kind of bhakti should a living entity or should one perform to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So that is the second question of Devahuti. The third question of Devahuti is, what is Jnana Yoga? Please explain the Sankhya or Jnana Yoga in detail. And fourth question is, please explain the Ashtanga Yoga in detail. And fifth question is, please explain the bhakti in greater detail. Bhakti, she already questioned in second question, what kind of bhakti should we perform? And again in fifth question, she is asking, please explain the bhakti in greater detail. And the sixth question she is asking, what are the characteristics of time and what effects this time cause to this material world? And the seventh question she is asking is samshriti or samsara, the cycle of birth, repeated cycle of birth and death. How a living entity can cross over this repeated cycle of birth and death. All these 7 questions were laid down to Lord Kapila Deva, in front of Lord Kapila Deva. And now Lord started answering these questions one by one. First question, the Aham Mameti concept, how to dispel the illusion. The answer given by Lord Kapila Deva to dispel the illusion is this Adhyatmika Yoga. The science of spiritual sciences he has given. Adhyatmika Yoga, this Adhyatmika Yoga consisting of 3 elements. One is Jnana element, which is nothing but the Sankhya, also called as Sankhya. The second element here is Yoga, which is also called Ashtanga Yoga. And the third one is called Bhakti or Bhakti Yoga. So Adhyatmika Yoga consisting of Jnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Of these 3, the Lord himself, he is telling Bhakti is the superior, is the ultimate and the topmost, and he establishes the Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. So in brief, we will go because we have very less time. I'll just give the very superficial points. So first question, Supreme Lord Kapila Deva have given the answer. For second question, what is Bhakti? Bhakti, what kind of bhakti should be performed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Bhakti can be the topmost bhakti which one can perform is Bhava Bhakti, spontaneous bhakti which invokes emotions towards the Lord. We should have some kind of a bhava or emotions while performing devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That kind of bhakti should be performed. And in case if the living entity is not able to invoke emotions or bhava while performing devotional service, he can do Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is nothing but the bhakti, the devotional service which is done through rules and regulations, through yama niyama, through rules and regulations. So that kind of bhakti can be performed. So the second answer for the second question, the answer is given by the Lord. Bhava Bhakti or Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is the prescribed one. And in order to perform this bhakti, the mind is the pivot. Mind should be controlled. Without controlling the mind, bhakti cannot be performed. So a controlled mind is always a good friend, and uncontrolled mind is always an enemy. And also to perform bhakti, one should have association of the sadhus. So without sadhus, without devotee association, one cannot progress in bhakti. So the devotees and characteristics of these devotees, the primary characteristics, the secondary characteristics, all these are elaborately described by Lord Kapila Deva for this second question. So we will not be covering all those characteristics because of interest of time. The secondary characteristics are being humble, simple, simplicity, humility, forgiveness, non-envious. All these are secondary characteristics. And the primary characteristics are like uninterrupted, unmotivational, and unflinching bhakti devotional service. Constantly doing that kind of bhakti is the primary characteristics of a sadhu or a devotee. So the primary characteristics of a sadhu, all the secondary characteristics will be automatically manifested in the primary sadhu, because if he is performing uninterrupted bhakti, all the secondary qualities, very good Vaishnava qualities, will automatically inherited in him. So that is the second answer. The third question, what is jnana? Or what is Sankhya philosophy? Jnana, the analytical study of the elements, the material elements, is called Jnana, and this is also called Sankhya. So Kapila Dev gives Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya philosophy is nothing but the analytical study of all the elements, of the material elements in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Sankhya because when there is no connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when relating to this, when relating to the analytical study of this element, then it will not come to the Sankhya, given by Lord Kapila. It will become Sankhya, atheistic Sankhya philosophy. So everything should be in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here he describes 3 aspects: Purusha, Prakriti, and Jiva. Purusha is nothing but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Prakriti is the whole material elements. The Prakriti, the Mahat Tattva, the Pradhana, all this comes in Prakriti. The 5 gross elements, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Panchendriyas, the sense objects, mind, buddhi, intelligence, chitta, consciousness, false ego, all these elements are covered in the Pradhana aspect. and Jiva is the soul. So the connection between Prakriti, Pradhana, Prakriti, Purusha, and Jiva in an analytical, in a systematic way is called the Sankhya philosophy. Here, Lord Kapila Dev elaborately describes on each and every single element of the material senses. Just in one small word, we can say the Pradhana is nothing but the unmanifested form of the Supreme Lord. That is Prakriti is the external energy of the Lord, and Purusha is the internal energy anyways, and there is external, and Jiva is the marginal, Tatastha Shakti, marginal energy of the Lord. All are eternal. Jiva is eternal, Purusha is eternal, Prakriti is also eternal. But Pradhana is unmanifested form of Prakriti, and Prakriti is the manifested form. So this Mahat Tattva, all this, like in second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have learned that how this from the pores of Mahavishnu, all these universes emanate, and by impregnating, by glancing this Prakriti, this Mahat Tattvas, and generate, and from Mahat Tattvas this false egos, all this elaborated discussion is given in a second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Lord Kapila Dev will elaborately describes on all these elements of Prakriti, and that is called as Sankhya philosophy. And fourth question, Ashtanga Yoga. Now, what is elaborately described about Ashtanga Yoga? Ashtanga yoga is asana, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and Ashtanga yoga. All these all elements come and fall under the Ashtanga yoga. And so here pranayama, controlling the breath to purify the shuddhis in the body, and asana, sitting in a posture where our body becomes fit and firm to perform devotional activities. Pratyahara, dragging the mind, or dragging the senses from the sense object, something. All these elements are clearly, elaborately described. So these are all asana, pranayama, pratyahara. These are all the preparatory things for a strong yogi to start his yoga practices, to start meditating on the form of the Supreme Lord. Here the yogi meditates on the form of the Supreme Lord, and also on all the limbs of the Supreme Lord. So that is described. And why Devahuti is asking to explain Ashtanga Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, even after Lord established Bhakti Yoga is the topmost, because in contrast, she wanted to have a complete conviction, and she wanted to have faith and appreciation towards the Bhakti Yoga process. Because by knowing, by elaborately discussing all these things, but still she wanted to make a conviction and appreciation that Bhakti Yoga is the superior. Only for that simple reason, Devahuti asked Lord Kapila Deva to explain Ashtanga Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, for nothing else. She doesn't want to follow that, or she does not recommend anybody to follow that. Her only vision is that she wanted to enlighten, she wanted to make Bhakti Yoga the topmost, the superior. And actually, when you have time, and you can just refer to the Ashtanga Yoga, the limbs of the Lord, how Ashtanga Yogi meditate on each limb of the Lord. It comes from the feet of the Lord, from the feet, the thighs, the navel, the abdomen, the neck, the chest, arms, face, the glands, the eyebrows, everything. It is beautifully given with we should really meditate on each and every shloka of that. Even as a Bhakti Yogas, when we go in front of a deity in a temple, or even in a wherever, we have to see the Lord and meditate Lord in that perception. Those shlokas are very, very effective, and we should really take shelter of those shlokas. And I will just one shloka I will read. Meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord. Sanchintayed bhagavatas charanara vindam vajrankushadhvaja saroruhalancha Nadhyam Uttunga Rakta Vilasannaka Chakravala Jyothsna Birahat Ahata Mahadrida Yandhakaram. Here, Lord Kapila Dev is telling when Ashtanga Yogi meditates on the lotus feet of the Lord. Here, the lotus feet has a lot of signs and auspicious symbols, and the moon-like effulgence which is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord will dissipate all the ignorance, all the material miseries of one of the conditioned living entities. Like that, this is the meaning of this verse. Like that, when we meditate on these shlokas and when we worship the Supreme Personality in the deity form in the temple, then it will be very, very effective. Our devotional service will be more meaningful. That is how even Acharyas are telling. So when you have time, please go. It's in 3rd canto, 28th chapter, and from verses 21 to 32, all the limbs of the Lord are described with beautiful shlokas. So that is the Ashtanga Yoga. And when it comes to Bhakti Yoga, now the 5th question is Bhakti Yoga in greater detail. So Bhakti Yoga, as already Lord is said, Bhakti is the topmost and it's ultimate. And he established it. So Bhakti is like what kind of Bhakti is? It should be Bhava Bhakti. It should be Nirguna Bhakti. It should be Uttama Bhakti, Kevala Bhakti. This is the topmost Bhakti one should perform. Actually, the people say like the living entities who perform devotional services, they are in different modes. One may be in the mode of passion, one may be in the mode of ignorance, and one may be in the mode of goodness. So, depending on the mode of the goodness, the bhakti performed by such living entity will be called as Rajasic Bhakti, Tamasic Bhakti, and Sattvic Bhakti. But Bhakti is not having any layers. Bhakti is always Bhakti, and it is the topmost Bhakti, and it is Uttama Bhakti, Kevala Bhakti, or Uttama Bhakti. Yeah. So it does not have. But when the living entity performs Bhakti in the mode of ignorance, like if he's too envious, if he's too if he has too much pride and envy towards other people, and if he is not having any kind of forgiving nature, and he's very angry or something, all these kind of people who perform bhakti, that bhakti comes under category of tamasic bhakti. And if a person who is performing bhakti is too much attached to the wealth, possessions, name, fame, education, qualifications, all these things, that kind of bhakti come into the category of rajasic bhakti. And if the person who is seeking for liberation, wanted to go get liberated, that kind of bhakti is categorized into sattvic bhakti. But one should, apart from all these bhaktis, they should transcend all these three kinds of bhaktis and come to the level of uttama bhakti, kevala bhakti. That is nirguna bhakti. That is the topmost bhakti. So that kind of bhakti should be performed. Here also, that kind of bhakti we have a shloka, because when can one reach to that kind of bhakti? When one is devoid of offenses. The person should have all the Vaishnava qualities. The 13 limbs I have discussed before earlier, that what kind of qualities should we have in order to perform bhakti. The 13 limbs are simplicity, respect, hearing, chanting, false ego, swadharma, now varnashrama dharma, all duties to be performed only for one purpose, samsiddhir haritoshanam, and devotional activities without any violence, deity worship in a very detached and spiritual vision, and respect for because when all these qualities are completely followed with all the 13 limbs, then the uttama stage of bhakti. So actually, when a living entity reaches to uttama stage of bhakti, the Lord is so pleased. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is so pleased, and he tries to offer for he offers five kinds of liberation to him, like Saijya, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Srashti, all these 5 kinds of liberations. But devotee is not at all interested in any kind of liberation. If there is no service in that, he is not ready to accept. He is not rejecting the liberation given by Supreme Personality of Godhead out of arrogance. He out of humility, he wanted to reject those, because he is only seeking for the devotional service towards the Lord wherever he is. Even if he is in this material planet, he wants only service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not seeking for that kind of liberation. So that is the Uttama Bhakti. So here there is also one shloka. Salokya sarishta samipya sarupyaikatvam apyuta diyamanam na grihnanti veenamat sevanam janaha. So bhaktas, they do not desire or aspire for any kind of a liberation, and gradation to jivas also should not be given. The respect should be given to the jivas on basis of gradation, like conscious living entities, semi-conscious living entities, and even in living entities also the devotees, Vaishnavas attain some kind of respect, and Brahmanas attain some kind of respect. Small children, they receive some kind of respect. So this kind of gradation is there. So respect also should not be given equally to everybody. So by following all these rules and regulations, bhakti should be performed, and bhakti is the ultimate, and that also the Uttama Bhakti is the ultimate. And one who performs this Hridaya Grandhi, so sorry Mataji, some devotees are calling me, so sorry. Hridaya Grandhi Vedana, the knots of this entanglement, the material knots will be liberated. We will be free of material lamentations and miseries, and all the ignorance and illusions will be dispelled, and we will be in complete pure knowledge, and we will attain liberation, go back to Godhead, the Godhead. That is the. And by studying Sankhya philosophy, by listening to this Sankhya philosophy, we will attain, we will be free from the three modes of material nature, and Hridaya Grandhi Vedana, that knots of the hot material entanglement will be relieved, and we will realize the self. And the sixth question here is the time factor. Mataji, can I talk for another 5 more minutes, Mataji? I'll finish the time factor and birth and death cycle.
Yes, ma'am.
So the time factor, time is the main thing, like living entities between birth and death, all these things happen. So it is completely the time factor. So time, 1 second. Time, all the seasons is related to the time. All the demigods is related to the time, and all the trees, which are whatever it gives, it all related to the time, and even the annihilation, dissolution of this universe, even the Lord of Death, Yamaraja, everything is related to the time. So that is the time factor which Lord Kardamuni gives to his mother, and life and the cycle of birth and death cycle. All these material, all these living entities, these conditioned souls are so much attached and entangled in the material loop, material pool of material existence, and so much of attachment to the bodies, and so he's not satisfied with because he's so much attached to the family life. He has to earn, and while earning he has to come up with a lot of sinful reactions and all. So even sometimes he's ready, even if he takes birth in any species of the life, in 8.4 million species, also he's okay. So all this happiness in contracting miseries. Actually, this is one of the funniest thing. Like he's not trying to come out of the miseries. He's not finding a solution for it. Instead of that, he's trying to contract the miseries, like from 2% of misery, he's trying to come to 0 or something like that. But he's not trying to eradicate that kind of misery. And he's securing all the money, wealth for his peers and all. And he's very disrespectful both outside and inside. And so many things happening. And but still he's undergoing so much of material anxiety and perplexity. But still he wanted to still exist in this, because even in the last stages of death also, he still remembers the unfulfilled desires which he left in this material world. So he contemplates on that, and with that contemplation itself, he leaves the body, and he again try to takes in another womb of the another mother. So the cycle of birth and death takes place, because this is all happening because of the false ego, the aham mameti concept, the maya. Because of this, he is so much entangled into the fruitive activities of a material existence, and he passes into the so much of hellish conditions because of this. After he experiences the near death experience, the death experience, and post death experience, and in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, lot of hellish planets are described. Tamishra, Andasa, Tamishra, so many hellish planets based on the sinful activities we have performed in one's lifetime. So the conditioned soul is ready to undergo all those kind of sinful reactions, and gets whips from the Emerald and all that. And after he finishes, he cleanses, then he will the soul enters into another body and takes birth another. And here Kapila Dev also describes how the living entity is born, right from the first day, like how slowly it progresses in the womb of the mother, and how much agony it undergoes, that embryo undergoes when it's in the mother's womb. All these descriptions are vividly and very elaborately described in Srimad Bhagavatam in this canto. And only fortunate souls, they remembers Krishna and praise Krishna when he is in the womb of the mother, that Krishna, please, I wanted to take shelter of your lotus feet. Only very fortunate souls will take this. And out of when it comes out of the mother's womb, again it will gets into the pool of this material thing, and again undergoes a lot of sinful activities, and this continues. This keeps on continues. So this is how Kapila Dev explains about the all these 7 questions asked by Mother Devahuti. Kapila Dev answers vividly in an elaborate. And later Kapila Dev leaves and goes back to his, and he says that Mother Devahuti, please perform all these whatever teachings I have given you. Please perform with devotion and execute the devotional services, and you will get Krishna Prema, and at the end you will be liberated. And Kapila Muni also says this philosophy, this knowledge can be given only to people who are friendly, and only to the devotees and non-envious people. This philosophy, this knowledge cannot be given to the people who are envious, who are not interested in devotional activities, who are having pride and all those non-Vaishnava qualities. This cannot be given to them. And the falashruti of this philosophy is this is the purest of the pure discourses. One who hears, reads, or expounds this knowledge becomes a devotee and attains the lotus feet and the abode of the Lord, who is carried by Garuda. Thus ends the teachings of Kapila Dev. Thank you so much, Mataji. And one more thing I have to mention here. Actually, when Kapila Dev was describing the Bhakti Yoga in greater detail, he Lord gave one shloka actually. Madguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaya manogatir avichinna yata gangam sayo mudo lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya udahrutam mahaitukiya vaihitaya bhakti purushottame. Here Kardamuni is telling, like the Ganges water, when it flows, it has so many obstacles on the way, but still it will not leave hope. It will slowly goes and merges into the ocean. Similarly, in spite of many obstacles and many things, we have to be very patient, tolerant, and uninterrupted, unmotivated devotional service to be performed, and that is the highest. And savai pumsam paro dharmo yeto bhakti radokshaje adhaituki aprahihata yayatma suprasidati. And devotional service should be performed uninterruptedly, unmotivatedly, at all times, under circumstances. That is the essence of this teachings, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Please forgive me if I had made any offenses or any mistakes while giving these teachings of Lord Kapila Deva. Please kindly forgive me, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Very detailed class.
Very detailed, yes. I know, I mean, like, the teachings can be very vast. You've summarized it nicely, Mataji.
I just went very superficially, Mataji.
Yeah, because of time, I think, Mataji.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Maji, so what type of incarnation is Lord Kapila? And then usually Lord incarnates to annihilate the miscreants and establish dharma. So it's the exact reason for advent of Kapila Dev. Can you explain, Mataji?
The exact reason why Kapila Dev incorporated is to give the Sankhya philosophy, Mataji, the Sankhya philosophy to the world. Yeah, Sankhya philosophy. That is his main
reason for coming.
Reason for descendants, Mataji. And in that Sankhya philosophy, while telling, he establishes Bhakti is the superior. In contrast, he has given the Sankhya philosophy and the Ashtanga also. But on top of it,
no, but why? I mean, what I don't understand, he says Bhakti Yoga is supreme. So where was the need to go into incarnate to give the Sankhya philosophy?
Because sure.
No, Mataji, tell me, yeah.
Because the material, this whole Mahatattva, the whole material creation is formed of many elements, right, Mataji? All these 24 elements, the pradhana, the mind, intelligence, false ego, the consciousness, all these elements are there, right, Mataji? So we need to understand that elements in connection with the Supreme Personality. Otherwise, the atheistic Sankhya philosophy, they just concoct and they go on their own and they create and they rule off this godly thing also, right, Mataji? So because I understood, like, because to keep that intact, so Lord Kapila Muni has to explain the Sankhya philosophy in detail, Mataji. And yogis also, because these Ashtanga yogis, when they meditate, when they do Ashtanga yoga, very fortunate yogis, they come into the Bhakti yoga process even after meditating on the personal form of the Lord, on the limbs of the Lord and looking at the form of the Lord. They are meditating, right? Even only very few fortunate would be able to come to Bhakti yoga and become a devotee and they go back to Godhead. But there is a possibility that most of the yogis, even after meditating on the Ashtanga yoga also, they go out of track and they seek for higher stages in Ashtanga yoga and they go liberated and go to the Brahman, this effulgence, right, Mataji? So to keep all this intact, I think Kapila Dev Muni explained and then established Bhakti as the superior. That is what my understanding is, Mataji.
In essence, his essence is he's giving Bhakti Yoga only, right?
The
final summary is saying you should do Bhakti Yoga.
Yes, Mataji. Essence is the Bhakti Yoga. Yes.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Correct.
Yeah.
Anybody else has any questions? Mataji, please ask questions.
Yeah, anybody has any questions or any comments and any corrections also?
Cleared explanation, no questions arrived. At least Karnaradhika Mataji, at least she some doubt she has, but
teaching I didn't read the book. So after he gives Devahuti instructions, that is the end of the his appearance.
Yes, Mataji, and Kardamuni leaves from that hermitage.
Kapila Dev
No, Kapila Dev also, after the teachings is over, Kapila Dev also instructs Mother Devahuti that please follow the instructions which I give and follow the pure devotional service and do Bhava Bhakti. And then you will, and he also tells that you will attain Krishna Prema. By doing so, you will attain Krishna Prema and you will come back to me. That is the benediction Lord Kapila Deva bestowed on Mother Devahuti.
Devahuti formed a river, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji performed the severe austerity and she becomes so emaciated after that and her body becomes so weak, thin and her whole hair get matted and later she burned herself in Siddhapeta there, Mataji. And there her body becomes melted and forms a river, Mataji.
Correct.
And now in Ganga Sagar, Kapila Muni is still there performing severe austerity and all the Sankhya followers still worship in Ganga Sagar Kapila Muni. Yes, Mataji. Ganga Sagar Mataji. Ganga Sagar.
Sagar, his
Where-
ashram is there, Mataji.
Yes, ma. That is the reference given in Bhagavatam, Mataji. That is how I came to know. That is the reference given in Bhagavatam.
Hare
So
Krishna.
after teachings, that is the end of his incarnation.
Yes, Mataji. After teachings, it's the end of the incarnation, and Lord leaves to his abode. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Vancha
Krishna,
kalpata
any more questions?
patitanam
Mataji, can I add something?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Sankhya philosophy is nothing but it's an analytical study of body and soul. Okay, so just like Lord Krishna made analysis of soul, and he raised Arjuna's consciousness from Buddhi Yoga to the point of Bhakti Yoga. Similarly, in Sankhya philosophy, Lord is giving opportunity for less intelligent class of men or atheists who have this mentality of analysis or analytical study of this material creation. Prabhupada writes, just like Arjuna, how Krishna gave philosophy to Arjuna, similarly, Sankhya or philosophy, which is given in Bhagavatam, are one and the same. In Gita and as well as in Bhagavatam, they're one and the same. It's an analytical study of a body and soul.
So similar to the Gita chapter, Mataji?
Yes, in the Gita chapter, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.